Was it an easy team to pick this week?
Well, we had a week off, and that always makes things a little bit easier because there's not so much pressure, from turning a game around. But we're embarking on 8 games in a row, so that's the tricky one where we've got to go 8 games, got to go to Australia, come back, a lot of touring, got to go up north, come back. So there's the immediate goal of trying to put out a performance that we're proud of against the Hurricanes, and then there's sort of the medium-term focus around getting guys some game time so we can get through this season.
Did Nathan Hasty make a pretty compelling case for more game time against Minor Pacifica?
Yeah, I thought he played well in a really tough game. He created a lot for the team, which was, I think, the point of difference that Nate's bringing to the game now. He's more confident. He's got confident skin in the game where he can go out there and express himself a little bit better than perhaps he was able to in the start of the season. And that's just experience, getting more experience. And yeah, he's playing good rugby.
Young Jack Taylor, what are you expecting from him?
Oh no, every time he's come on off the bench, he's done really well. We had an indifferent performance from Sawana. He's been so good for us in the early parts of the season, and one thing that we need to improve on is our discipline. So I think Jack gets an opportunity to go out and see if he can start a game, and as a coaching team we get to see if he can do it as well.
Just finally for me, Hugh Renton, it's sort of more specific now, a little bit of a groin issue. How's Hugh?
Yeah, he's like most loose forwards, just gets on with business. And but I think I sort of said a couple of weeks ago, his rugby was slowly going backwards really, and so he's been able to have a breather. He's got a groin issue which he's trying to get on top of. He's not quite there. Hopefully he'll be in consideration next week.
Jamie, I think at the start of the season, most people would have expected Thomas Jensen to play a role somewhere. I think he might be named in a Bravehearts team. What does he need to do to crack the 23?
Just play rugby, man. Hasn't played a lot of rugby, Thomas. So he'd been littered, unfortunately, with injuries. So he gets an injury and then another injury. And so that's really hampered his confidence. But he seems to be back. I just watched him train the last 2 weeks. It's just that the team is in that position where he plays at 12 and 13. It's a competitive position. I think he's doing all he can do in the circumstances he finds himself in, which is coming back from injury, not a competition for our second-tier players, and no club rugby started yet. But this week we've got a Bravehearts game, and so he'll get another run against the Crusaders guys, and then if he plays well, he's in contention.
AJ Faliafanga is poised for his first appearance this year as well. What does he need to do to work on his game to promote himself? I
think with AJ, he's been a little bit unlucky. He's never had an opportunity because we haven't selected him. Crikey, he's fit, Paul. He's hungry. He just needs to make sure that he's an instinctive 10. He's got a lot of skill, a lot of individual ability. The other part of his game is that he needs to execute on the weekend is that control and balance. So he's not just having to go all the time. He's being able to control the team and understand the context of the game. So when he comes into the game, if we're winning, losing, it's a tight game, he needs to apply that set of skills to that situation.
A bye week last week, mate. Great to get a break, but do you lose momentum a bit?
I think it's bye week after 3 games of rugby, but it was actually after 8 games because we'd been going since January the 6th, and so I thought it was a timely time for us to have a win, to have a bye, and no, I think it's good, especially now we embark on an 8-game match. Yeah.
So all the teams are under pressure, Jamie, but the Canes, they're 1 and 3. What are you expecting from them on Friday?
Oh no, I think that, this team is going to come out. They've got their All Blacks returning. I'm not sure I can say they're under pressure because I feel that we're under pressure every week. But I know they'll be hungry and they'll have a point to prove. And we haven't beaten the Hurricanes since I believe 2020, and that was in front of an empty stadium here at Forsyth Barr, and before that it was 2018, when the team was littered with All Blacks. So it's been a long time since the Highlanders have beaten the Hurricanes, and we've just got to make sure that we focus on a couple of key points that came out of the game. So we were quite conservative. We made a lot of mistakes against Moana. We've just been really focusing on getting that right.
As you mentioned before, after the Canes game, you've got a run of Australian teams. What have you made of their play and improvement this season?
Oh yeah, no, I think there's an improvement across all the teams, not just the Australian teams. I think they have their own form of DNA around how they play the game. The Reds, who we've got next, highly skillful team, played really well last year. Seemed to be really well organised and coached, led by Les. So no, expecting a really tough game.
You mentioned before the youth of the side. Just in general, how you're feeling about the younger players and how they're handling the pressure and the expectations?
No, I think they, thus far, they're going pretty good. Every week poses a different problem. They've had a couple of gritty ones. So every match, the Waratahs, they lost the match in the last sort of seconds of the game. They were able to reverse that the week later against the Blues and then hang in there, by the skin of their teeth against the Moana. So I think that's going to be the same every week for us at this stage of our development, the young team. I think we're just going to get that every week.
Not alone in that, youth sprinkled about through all the teams, particularly the young raw first fives we're seeing playing at the moment. We've got Tane. How much of a challenge is it for a young guy to be starting at Super Rugby level?
Oh, the good ones want it, and the good ones want to be there. And there's some real good signs that our boys enjoy that part of the game. And every week, as I say, like last couple of weeks, we've had some really tough games where they've had to find something different that perhaps they thought about before the game. So I think they're in good stead.
Just a last question on young players. Do you think they're better prepared today than they have in the past to come into Super Rugby?
We train a lot. We train a lot. They're really conscientious learners. They want to make sure that they go out there and play well. Sometimes that might mean they might overthink things, but that's also part of the learning, turning it out every week, not just playing one good game of rugby.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Bush.